Once upon a time, there was a man who could do no wrong. He didn't do much right either. As a matter of fact, he didn't do much of anything.
Oh, this chair is so cushy and comfortable. It's just the perfect place to sit and relax.
The man was known as a sitter, and he had never been bothered by any stress-related ailments because he insulated himself from all stress. That is to say, he wasn't a vegetable. He did have to make some choices.
Let's see. Should I watch, CSI or American Idol? Oh, go Ruben.
Next door to the sitter lived yet another person. He was about as different from the sitter as you can get. He was known as a striver.
Okay, what do I do next? Let's see, my to-do list here. Read that stack of magazines I haven't read yet. Meet Bobby at his soccer game, but I gotta stop off at the cleaners before they close. This list is so long. I sure hope I get through it today. What's next?
The striver was considerably more active than the sitter, and he was widely respected for his accomplishments. Yet all his busyness was not very productive. Next to them lived yet another person. He was quite different from the sitter in that he watched very little TV, except for the news anyway. And he wasn't like the striver because his life was much more balanced. He stood tall and solid. In fact, he was known as a stander, and everyone knew exactly where he stood.
What do I think of the Texas legislature? I'll tell you exactly what I think. But before we go there, what's with these kids today? They don't listen. My employees don't listen to me either. I keep telling them how to do their work, but they think they have all the answers. They never listen. I don't get it. I write to my mayor, I write to my mechanic, I write to my mother, and I write to my minister. I don't really want to do it, but, they need to get the whole story, and they need to get the truth, and I'm just the one to give it to them. And another thing.
The stander could talk circles around anyone and go absolutely nowhere. He gave out his advice like aspirin. But one day, something very unexpected happened. One day the sitter, the striver, and the stander received a surprise visit from a very unlikely source.
Who is it?
One day, God paid a visit.
No, really. Who is it, really?
The God who loves sitters actually made contact. He offered him a life wider than a 19-inch screen, more dynamic than 30 frames a second.
You mean there's a better place than this chair? A softer place?
A safer place.
Oh.
To everyone's surprise, including himself, the sitter found that he was strangely receptive to this visitor. He decided to listen to his guest and declined to recline any longer.
Ooh. I'm actually standing on my own.
Because of his newfound upright orientation, the man was asked by God to take a step of faith.
You mean you want me to go talk to the striver? To tell him about us? About you? Hey, this could be like Mission Impossible. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
But God assured him he wouldn't be alone, and so he ventured out.
Excuse me, I have a message from God.
Huh?
A message from God. He wants you to cease striving and know that He is God.
That is not on my list.
In fact, He's got the perfect thing for you. He wants you to sit in my chair every once in a while just to get a different perspective on things.
I don't know. There are no wheels on that chair.
It's perfectly safe. How's that?
Ooh. So this is what rest feels like. I've always wondered what it was like to sit still.
God helped the striver relax, and he gave him new meaning to his movement.
Ah, this feels good.
But there was still one visit God had to make. After enough rest to be ready, both striver and sitter headed over to Stander to deliver the message.
Two open-minded souls come to me for instruction. I'll be glad to answer all your questions, boys, but first, let me make my position perfectly clear.
Excuse me, this is from God.
A Bible? Oh, you want to discuss theology? Well,
Oh, no. I don't mean to be rude, but you really need to read that and listen for a change. Then do what it says.
you want me to get my ideas from somebody else? Mm-hmm. What's this underline here? If you love me, obey me. Who does God think he is anyway? God? Come on.
Look, I had to learn how to stop.
And I had to learn how to stand up.
You really need to find significance in the things that really matter.
I don't know, boys. This seems pretty risky.
We both had to make a change too, but it's worth it.
So, a very remarkable change happened that day. A sitter learned the value of standing up and having convictions for God. A stander learned the value of striving after what really mattered to God. And a striver learned the value of slowing down and resting in God. And they discovered that sitters and strivers and standers can become saints, because saints are in reality just ordinary people like you and me, who have been touched by God and who have been led to the right place at the right time.